It was a bright and sunny Saturday afternoon. The sky was blue, with fluffy white clouds floating high above. Down below, 12-year-old Timmy Jackson sat on his brand new porch swing. The swing was simple but special. It was wooden, painted red, and it creaked just a little every time Timmy moved back and forth. He loved that sound. It made him feel cozy and happy, like he had his own little spot in the world. His mom had worked super hard to buy it. She saved money for months, putting coins and dollars in a jar until she had enough. When she finally brought the swing home, Timmy's eyes lit up. He couldn't wait to sit on it every day. The neighborhood around Timmy's house was peaceful that day. Birds chirped in the trees, singing little songs that floated through the air. Down the street, a few kids laughed and shouted as they played tag. Their voices bounced off the houses, making everything feel alive and fun. Timmy's house sat on a quiet corner, with a big green lawn and a porch that wrapped around the front. The swing hung right there on the porch, swaying gently in the breeze. To Timmy, it was perfect. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and smiled. The sun warmed his face, and he thought, this is the best day ever. But here's the thing, not everyone felt the same way. Someone else was watching Timmy. Someone who didn't like what they saw. They stood far away, peeking out from behind a curtain or maybe hiding behind a tree. Their eyes narrowed as they stared at the swing. To them, that creaky red swing wasn't cute or fun. It was trouble. It was something that didn't belong. And they were already starting to make a plan to get rid of it. Who do you think it was? Was it a grumpy neighbor? Maybe a kid who didn't like Timmy? Or someone else entirely? Hold on to your guesses, because we're just getting started. This story has some surprises up its sleeve, and you won't believe what happens next. Timmy didn't know he was being watched. He was too busy enjoying his swing. He kicked his legs a little, making it go higher. The creak sound got louder, and he giggled. He loved how the swing made him feel like he was flying, just a tiny bit. His sneakers brushed the porch floor every time he swung back, leaving little scuff marks. His mom didn't mind, though. She was inside, humming a song while she washed dishes. She'd peek out the window now and then, smiling at Timmy. She was so proud of that swing. It wasn't just a thing to sit on, it was a gift, something she worked hard for to make her son happy. The street outside was calm. A yellow butterfly fluttered by, landing on a flower near the porch. Timmy watched it, amazed at how its wings sparkled in the sun. A squirrel ran up a tree, chattering like it had something important to say. Everything seemed so normal, so quiet, so good. Timmy's best friend, Joey, lived 2 houses down. Sometimes Joey would come over, and they'd take turns on the swing, telling jokes or making up silly stories. But today, Joey was at soccer practice, so Timmy had the swing all to himself. He didn't mind. It was nice to just sit and think. But that quiet feeling? It wasn't going to last. That someone who was watching, they were getting madder by the minute. They didn't like the swing. They didn't like how it looked on Timmy's porch. Maybe they thought it was too bright, or too loud with its creaking. Maybe they just didn't like Timmy or his mom. Whatever the reason, they were done waiting. They were going to do something about it, and soon. Timmy swung back and forth, totally clueless. He didn't hear the footsteps coming closer. He didn't see the shadow moving across the lawn. He was lost in his own little world, dreaming about pirates or spaceships or whatever popped into his head. The swing kept creaking, the birds kept chirping, and the sun kept shining. It was still a perfect day for Timmy. But for that someone watching? It was the opposite. To them, that swing was like a big red flag waving in their face, saying, "Look at me." And they hated it? Let's think about this for a second. Who could it be? Maybe it's someone who lives nearby, someone Timmy sees all the time. Maybe it's a lady with a loud voice who's always yelling about rules. Or maybe it's someone sneakier, someone who doesn't say much but watches everything. What do you think? Can you picture them yet? Don't worry if you're not sure, we've got more clues coming up. Timmy's mom came to the door for a second. "You okay out there, Timmy?" she called. Her voice was soft and kind. "Yep." Timmy shouted back, giving her a big thumbs up. She laughed and went back inside, leaving the screen door open so she could hear him. She didn't know about the watcher either. No one did except us. We're the ones who get to peek behind the curtain and see what's really going on. And trust me, it's about to get wild. The swing creaked again, louder this time. Timmy pushed off with his feet, going as high as he could. He felt the wind rush past his ears, and he grinned. He didn't have a care in the world. But that watcher? They were done being quiet. They were ready to make some noise. They stepped out from their hiding spot, and their shadows stretched long across the grass. Timmy didn't see it yet, but he would soon. Something big was coming, something that would turn this sunny day upside down. So, what's your guess? Who's watching Timmy? Why do they hate that swing so much? Stick with me, because this story's just warming up. We've got twists and turns ahead, and I promise you'll want to know how it ends. That swing might look small, but it's about to start something huge. Ready for more? Let's keep going. The sunny day was about to get a lot louder. That's because Mrs. Linda Harper showed up. She lived a few houses down from Timmy, and she acted like she owned the whole neighborhood. Everyone called her HOA Karen when she wasn't around. HOA stood for Homeowners Association, a group that made rules for the neighborhood. Linda wasn't even the real boss of it, but she sure acted like she was. She loved walking around with her clipboard, pointing at things she didn't like. She'd yell stuff like, "No toys in the yard," or "Your grass is 1 inch too tall." Most people just sighed and waited for her to leave. They'd roll their eyes and whisper, "There goes HOA Karen again." Nobody took her too seriously until she decided to pick a fight with Timmy. Linda was on her usual patrol that afternoon, her clipboard tucked under her arm. She wore big sunglasses and a frown that never went away. Her shoes clicked on the sidewalk as she marched from house to house, looking for trouble. Then she stopped. Her eyes locked onto Timmy's porch swing. That little red swing, creaking as Timmy swayed back and forth, made her face turn sour. She didn't say anything at first. She just stood there, staring, her lips pressed tight together. Timmy didn't notice her yet. He was too busy kicking his legs, making the swing go a little higher. But Linda? Oh, she was mad. Really mad. She stormed up to Timmy's porch, her clipboard flapping in her hand. "That swing is an eyesore," she shouted, pointing at it like it was a monster. Her voice was loud and sharp, like a teacher scolding a kid who forgot their homework. Timmy stopped swinging and looked up at her. His eyes got big. He didn't know what eyesore meant, but he could tell she didn't like his swing. "It's ugly and awful," Linda went on, waving her arms. "It's against the rules, and I'm calling the police." Timmy blinked at her, confused. "But, it's just a swing," he said in a small voice. He didn't get it. His swing wasn't hurting anyone. It was just sitting there, painted red, creaking a little. His mom had checked the rules, and she said it was okay. So why was Linda so upset? He tilted his head, watching her. Linda didn't care what he thought. She smirked, a mean little smile curling up her face. She pulled her phone out of her pocket and started dialing 911. "You'll learn to follow the rules, kid," she said, her voice dripping with sass. Timmy didn't say anything back. He just sat there, letting the swing rock slowly. His hands gripped the ropes, and his sneakers dangled above the porch floor. Linda kept talking, loud and fast. "This neighborhood has standards," she barked. "We can't have junk like this ruining everything." She held the phone to her ear, tapping her foot like she couldn't wait to tattle. Timmy watched her rant and rave. He didn't yell or cry or run inside. He just stayed quiet, his eyes following her every move. But here's a little hint, Timmy wasn't as clueless as she thought. He knew something she didn't. Can you guess what it was? Keep that guess in your head, we'll find out soon. Linda paced back and forth in front of the porch, her voice getting louder. "Hello, police," she said into the phone. "Yes, I need an officer here right now. There's an illegal swing on this porch." She made it sound like Timmy had done something really bad, like stealing or breaking something. But it was just a swing. Timmy's swing. The one his mom saved up for, the one he loved. Linda didn't care about that. She wanted it gone, and she wanted it gone now. "Hurry up," she snapped into the phone. "This is an emergency." Timmy's mom heard the noise and poked her head out the door. "What's going on?" she asked, wiping her hands on a dish towel. She saw Linda standing there, yelling into her phone, and frowned. "Linda, why are you shouting?" she said. Linda spun around and pointed at the swing. "This thing is against the rules," she cried. "It's ugly, and it doesn't belong here." Timmy's mom shook her head. "It's not against the rules," she said calmly. "I checked with the HOA. It's fine." Linda didn't like that answer. "Not one bit." "You're wrong," she snapped. "I know the rules better than anyone. I'm in charge around here." She wasn't really in charge, but she sure acted like it. Timmy's mom sighed. "Linda, it's just a swing. Let it go." But Linda wouldn't let it go. She turned back to Timmy and glared at him. "You think you can just do whatever you want," she said. "Not in my neighborhood." Timmy still didn't argue. He swung a little slower now, the creak sound filling the air. Linda's words didn't scare him. He wasn't mad or upset. He just watched her, quiet as a mouse. His mom stayed by the door, ready to step in if things got worse. The birds were still chirping, but they sounded far away now. The happy, peaceful feeling from before was slipping away. Linda's loud voice chased it off. She kept talking into her phone, telling the police to hurry. "This kid needs to learn a lesson," she said. The neighbors started to notice. A lady across the street peeked out her window. A man walking his dog slowed down to listen. Everyone knew Linda. They knew she loved making a fuss. Most of them just shook their heads and kept going. But this time, it was different. This time, she was picking on Timmy, a kid who never bothered anyone. And that swing? It wasn't hurting a soul. So why was she so mad? What was her problem? Timmy kept swinging, his eyes on Linda. He didn't look scared. He didn't look worried. He looked calm. Too calm, maybe. Like he had a secret. Linda didn't see it. She was too busy yelling and waving her clipboard. She thought she had all the power. She thought she could boss Timmy around and make his swing disappear. But here's the thing, she didn't know everything. Timmy did. What do you think he knew? Was it something big? Something funny? Something that would make Linda stop in her tracks? Keep guessing, because the answer's coming up fast. Linda hung up the phone and crossed her arms. "The police are on their way," she said with a smug grin. "You're in trouble now, kid." Timmy didn't answer. He just swung a little more, the creak sound steady and slow. His mom stepped closer. "Linda, this is silly," she said. "You're calling the police over a swing." Linda huffed. "It's not silly. It's about rules." She stomped her foot, like a kid throwing a fit. The next few minutes turned into a big, loud mess. Linda, the lady everyone called HOA Karen, wouldn't stop moving. She walked back and forth in front of Timmy's porch, her shoes making loud clicks on the ground. She held her phone tied to her ear, yelling so loud the whole neighborhood could hear. "Yes, officer," she shouted. "There's an illegal structure on this porch. It's a swing, and it's breaking all the rules. I demand you come right now." Her voice was sharp, like a whistle that wouldn't quit. She waved her free hand in the air, pointing at Timmy's red swing like it was the worst thing she'd ever seen. Timmy's mom heard all the noise and stepped outside. She stood on the porch, still holding her dish towel from the kitchen. Her face looked tired but calm. "Linda," she said, trying to keep her voice soft, "it's just a swing. We checked the rules, it's fine." She wanted Linda to stop yelling and go away. She didn't like all this fuss over something so small. The swing wasn't hurting anyone. It was just sitting there, creaking a little when Timmy moved. But Linda didn't care. She wouldn't listen at all. She shook her head hard, her sunglasses sliding down her nose. "No," she snapped. "It's against the rules, and that's that." Her face was getting redder and redder, like a tomato about to burst. Linda kept shouting, her words tumbling out fast. "This neighborhood has to look nice," she cried. "That swing is ugly. It's loud. It doesn't belong here." She pointed at it again and again, like she could make it disappear just by staring at it. Timmy's mom tried to talk again. "Linda, please," she said. "It's not a big deal. Let's just be nice about this." But Linda wasn't in a nice mood. She turned her back on Timmy's mom and kept barking into her phone. "Hurry up, officer," she said. This is serious. While all this was going on, Timmy stayed super quiet. He sat on his swing, barely moving now. The creak sound was softer, almost like a whisper. He didn't say a word. He didn't yell back at Linda or ask his mom for help. He just watched. His eyes moved quick, though. They darted from Linda to the street, then back to Linda again. Something was out there, and Timmy saw it before anyone else did. A police car was coming. Its lights flashed red and blue, spinning bright against the sunny day. The car rolled closer, its tires crunching on the road. Timmy saw it pull up right in front of his house, and he didn't look scared at all. In fact, his lips twitched, like he was about to smile. Why do you think that was? Let's keep watching. Linda saw the police car too, and oh boy, did she get excited. She stopped pacing and stood tall, like she'd just won a big prize. Her mean little smirk grew into a giant grin. She hung up her phone and shoved it in her pocket. See, she crowed, looking at Timmy and his mom. The law's on my side. I told you I'd fix this. She crossed her arms and nodded, so proud of herself. She thought the police were there to take the swing away. She thought she was the hero of the neighborhood, making everything perfect again. You're in trouble now, she said, pointing at Timmy one more time. Timmy's mom frowned deeper. Linda, this is silly, she said. You called the police over a swing? Really? She stepped closer to Timmy, standing between him and Linda like a shield. She didn't like this one bit. She didn't want her son to feel scared or sad. But Linda just laughed a short, loud laugh that sounded more like a snort. Silly, she said. No, this is about rules. You'll see. She turned toward the police car, waiting for the officer to come out and agree with her. The neighbors were starting to peek now. A lady across the street pulled her curtain back, her nose pressed to the window. A man down the block stopped mowing his lawn and stared. Even the kids playing tag slowed down, whispering to each other. What's HOA Karen doing now, they probably said. Everyone knew Linda loved drama. She was always complaining about something: too many flowers, a bike left out, a dog barking too loud. But this time, she was going after Timmy's swing, and that felt different. It felt meaner. People watched, waiting to see what would happen next. Timmy didn't move from his swing. He sat there, still as a statue. The police car door opened, and a tall officer stepped out. He wore a dark uniform with a shiny badge, and his boots thumped on the ground as he walked. Linda practically bounced with joy. Officer, she called, waving her clipboard. Over here. The problem's right here. She pointed at the swing again, like it might run away if she didn't keep it in sight. The officer looked her way, but he didn't say anything yet. He just started walking toward the porch. Timmy's eyes followed the officer. He still didn't look worried. Not even a little. The swing creaked one more time as he leaned back, his hands loose on the ropes. Linda kept talking, her voice loud and fast. That swing's illegal, she told the officer. It's breaking the rules. You need to take it down right now. She sounded so sure, like she'd already won. Timmy's mom shook her head again. It's not illegal, she said, softer this time. We checked. It's fine. But Linda ignored her, too busy bossing the officer around. The officer kept walking, getting closer. Linda's grin got bigger. She thought this was her big moment. She thought the police were there to back her up and make Timmy's swing go away forever. But here's the thing: Timmy knew something she didn't. His almost smile got a tiny bit wider. His eyes sparkled, like he was holding in a laugh. Why wasn't he scared? Why did he look so calm when a police car was right there? Something big was coming. Can you feel it? It's like the air got thicker, like the story's about to twist in a way Linda never saw coming. The officer was almost at the porch now. Linda clapped her hands together, ready to cheer. Timmy's mom crossed her arms, ready to argue. The neighbors leaned closer to their windows, ready to watch. And Timmy? He just sat there, swinging slow and steady. He didn't say a word, but his face said everything. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't upset. He was waiting. Waiting for what? What did he know that Linda didn't? Guess if you want, because the answer's almost here, and it's going to be good. The chaos was loud, but Timmy was quiet. Linda was mad, but Timmy was calm. The police car lights flashed, and something huge was about to happen. Can you guess what's next? Hold on tight, this story's getting wilder by the second. The police car door swung open, and out stepped a tall cop. He had a dark blue uniform with shiny buttons and a badge that gleamed in the sun. His boots hit the ground with a loud thump, and everyone turned to look. Linda, the loud lady everyone called HOA Karen, didn't waste a second. She rushed over to him, her clipboard flapping in her hand like a bird trying to fly. She was so excited, she started talking before he even got close. "Officer, thank goodness you're here," she shouted, her voice high and fast. "This swing is a violation. It's breaking all the rules, and we need to get rid of it right now." She pointed at Timmy's red swing, still creaking on the porch, like it was the worst thing in the world. Linda kept going, spilling her whole story. "I've been telling them it's illegal," she said. "They won't listen, but I know the rules. You have to do something." She was so sure the cop would agree with her. She thought he'd march right up, rip the swing down, and tell Timmy and his mom they were wrong. Her face was still red from all her yelling, and she bounced on her toes, waiting for him to say she was right. But then something weird happened. The officer didn't even look at her. Not once. He didn't nod or smile or say, "Yes, ma'am." He just kept walking, straight past Linda, like she wasn't even there. Her words stopped mid-sentence, hanging in the air like a balloon that popped. The cop headed right for the porch where Timmy sat. Linda's eyes got big. She froze, her mouth half open, confused. Timmy's mom stood nearby, watching too. The neighbors peeked out their windows, holding their breath. What was going on? The officer didn't stop until he was standing right in front of Timmy. And then bam, he stuck out his hand and gave Timmy a big, loud high five. The slap of their hands echoed across the yard. "Hey, Timmy," the cop said with a huge grin. "How's the swing holding up?" Linda's jaw dropped so low, it looked like it might fall off her face. Timmy didn't just sit there, he hopped off the swing, his sneakers hitting the porch with a little thud. He ran over and threw his arms around the cop in a big hug. "It's awesome, Uncle Mike," he chirped, his voice happy and bright. The cop laughed and hugged him back, ruffling Timmy's hair with his big hand. "Glad you like it, kiddo," he said. That's right, Uncle Mike wasn't just any cop. He was Officer Mike Dawson, Timmy's favorite uncle. Linda's face changed fast. It went from red and mad to ghost white, like she'd seen a spooky shadow. She'd just called 911, yelling about Timmy's swing, thinking she'd win. But she didn't know the cop she called was Timmy's uncle. Talk about a twist. The police weren't there to help her, they were family. Linda stood there, her clipboard slipping in her sweaty hand, looking like she wanted to disappear. Timmy's mom smiled a little, her arms still crossed. She didn't say anything yet, but you could tell she was happy. The neighbors started whispering to each other. "Did you hear that?" one lady said behind her curtain. "That's his uncle," a man muttered to his dog. The kids down the street stopped playing tag and stared, their mouths open. Linda didn't notice them. She was too busy blinking at Uncle Mike and Timmy, trying to figure out what just happened. Uncle Mike turned his head a little, finally looking at Linda. His grin faded, but he didn't look mad, just calm. "So," he said, his voice deep and steady, "you're the one who called about the swing." Linda gulped. Her throat made a funny sound, like she was swallowing a big lump. Yes," she stammered. She didn't sound loud or bossy anymore. She sounded small, like a kid caught sneaking candy. "It's against the rules," she mumbled, holding up her clipboard like it could save her. Uncle Mike raised an eyebrow. "Is it?" he said. He didn't yell or argue. He just stood there, tall and strong, waiting for her to explain. Timmy climbed back onto his swing, letting it rock a little. The creak sound came back, soft and slow. He looked at Linda too, but he didn't say anything. He just watched, his eyes shiny with a secret he'd kept all along. Linda didn't know what to do. She'd thought the police would be on her side. She'd thought she'd look smart and important. But now, she looked silly, and she knew it. Timmy's mom stepped forward. "Mike," she said to the cop, "Linda's been yelling about the swing all day. I told her it's fine. We checked the rules." Uncle Mike nodded. I know, he said. I helped you check them myself. He turned back to Linda. My sister wanted the swing for Timmy. We made sure it was okay. So what's the problem? His voice was quiet, but it had power, like a teacher asking a question you'd better answer right. Linda's hands shook a little. Her clipboard wobbled, and her big sunglasses slid down her nose again. But it's an eyesore, she said, her voice squeaky now. It's loud. It's ugly. Uncle Mike tilted his head. It's a swing, he said simply. Kids like swings. What's wrong with that? Linda opened her mouth, then closed it. She didn't have a good answer. She'd called the police, made a big fuss, and now the cop was Timmy's uncle. She'd messed up, big time. The neighbors couldn't hide their giggles anymore. A lady across the street laughed behind her hand. The man with the dog shook his head, smiling. The kids down the block started whispering again, pointing at Linda. She didn't know, one of them said. She called his uncle, another giggled. Linda's face turned pink now, not mad pink, but embarrassed pink. She looked around, seeing all the eyes on her. She wasn't the boss anymore. She was the one who looked dumb. Timmy swung a little higher, his sneakers kicking the air. Thanks for coming, Uncle Mike, he said, grinning wide. Uncle Mike winked at him. Anytime, Timmy, he said. I was in the area anyway. He looked back at Linda, waiting. What do you think she did next? Did she run away? Did she try to argue more? The big twist was out. Uncle Mike was family, and Linda's plan fell apart. Let's find out what happened after this wild surprise. The air felt different now. The yelling stopped, and the truth came out. Linda thought she'd win, but Timmy's secret turned everything around. Can you believe it? This swing wasn't going anywhere, not with Uncle Mike around. Stick with me to see how it all ends. The big twist was over, and now it was time to wrap things up. Uncle Mike, the cop who was also Timmy's uncle, turned to Linda. He crossed his arms over his chest, making his uniform look even bigger. So, he said, his voice calm but strong, you're saying my nephew's swing is a problem? He didn't yell, but his words made Linda stop and listen. She stood there, her face still pink from embarrassment. She didn't know what to say at first. She started, her voice shaking. It's against the rules, she finally blurted out, pointing at the swing one last time. Uncle Mike didn't move. He just raised one eyebrow, like he was waiting for her to figure out she was wrong. I checked the HOA handbook myself, he said. I did it when my sister bought the swing for Timmy. That swing's allowed. It's fine. He paused, then added, but you? Calling the police for no reason? That's not okay. You're wasting police time. His voice stayed steady, but it was clear he meant business. Linda froze. She looked like a statue, her clipboard hanging loose in her hand. She didn't have anything smart to say back. She'd been so sure she was right, but now she knew she'd messed up. The neighbors couldn't stay quiet anymore. People peeked out their windows, some giggling behind their curtains. A lady across the street whispered to her husband, she called his uncle. A man down the block laughed softly to his dog. They all saw Linda standing there, looking small and silly. Timmy's mom smiled a little. She stepped closer to Uncle Mike and said, maybe you should read the rules yourself next time, Linda. Her voice was kind but firm, like a teacher giving a good tip. Linda's eyes darted around. She saw everyone watching her. She didn't have a comeback. She mumbled something under her breath, nobody could hear what, and then turned fast. She scurried back to her house, her shoes clicking quick on the sidewalk. Her clipboard dangled at her side, swinging like it didn't matter anymore. Timmy didn't wait long. He climbed right back onto his red swing, his grin stretching ear to ear. The creak sound started up again as he rocked back and forth. Thanks, Uncle Mike, he called, his voice loud and happy. Uncle Mike turned to him and winked. Anytime, kiddo, he said, his grin matching Timmy's. He gave a little wave, then walked back to his police car. The flashing lights turned off, and the street got quiet again. Timmy's mom went inside, still smiling. The birds started chirping louder, and the kids down the block went back to playing tag. Everything felt normal again, but better. The swing stayed right where it was, safe on the porch. And now, everyone in the neighborhood knew something important: don't mess with Timmy's swing. Linda wouldn't try that again. Justice was served, and Timmy got to keep his favorite spot. The day ended with sunshine and smiles, just the way it should. And that's the end of our story, friends. What a crazy ride, right? Sometimes, the loudest people like Linda think they're the boss of everything. They yell and point and act big, sure they're going to win. But life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes, it swings back at them, just like Timmy's red swing stayed right where it was. Timmy didn't need to shout or fight or make a fuss. He didn't argue with Linda or run away scared. He just sat there, quiet and calm, waiting for the truth to show up. And when it did, bam, it was the best surprise ever. Uncle Mike walked in, and Linda didn't know what to do. Think about that for a second. Timmy didn't have to be loud to win. He didn't have to be mean or pushy. He had something better, a secret that turned everything around. So here's a little lesson for you: next time someone tries to boss you around or make you feel small, don't worry. You don't always have to yell back. The quiet ones, like Timmy, might have the best tricks up their sleeves. Maybe you've got a surprise of your own, something nobody expects. Just wait for the right moment, and let it shine. You'll see things can turn out better than you think. What do you think about all this? Did you like that big twist with Uncle Mike? I bet you didn't see that coming. And Linda, did she get what she deserved? She walked away looking silly, and Timmy got to keep his swing. Drop a comment down below and tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Did this story make you laugh? Did it make you cheer for Timmy? Let me know. Oh, and if you had fun with this story, give it a big thumbs up. Hit that like button so I know you enjoyed it. Stories like this are all about surprises and happy endings, and I've got more where this came from. Stick around, because next time, we'll have another wild tale to share. Maybe it'll be about a kid with a secret pet, or a race that nobody expects to win. Who knows? It's going to be awesome, so don't miss it. For now, think about Timmy and his swing. He stayed cool, and he came out on top. You can do that too. When things get tough, or someone's being loud and bossy, just take a deep breath and wait. Your moment will come, and it'll be great. See you next time, friends. Keep being your amazing selves.